All right, here we are back again at the 2 Down, 1 Over podcast. I'm Josh Mason. This is Matt Flanagan, and we are here with the man, the myth, the legend, the Penn State linebacker, Dominic Deluca. Let's go, baby. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We appreciate you coming through. I know you got the super busy schedule, coming off a fresh win of the Rose Bowl, man. How did that feel?
Such a surreal moment. It was a great feeling, a dream come true.
Yeah, I can't imagine. So Utah, right? You guys beat up on Utah, man. That's dope, man. I love it. So listen, man, we're super excited to have you on here. I think a lot of people are going to gain some gems, nuggets, and all types of feedback from you that can help them become successful and get their minds right and reach down, 2 down, and 1 over. So I'm going to start us off, dude. I'm going to take you back, all right, to I believe it was 2019 in the state championship, man. You guys played Central Valley, correct?
Correct.
It's the fourth quarter. They're down 14-0 and the Pennsylvania State Championship. I need to feel your mind right now. I need to know what's in the mind that you're down 14-0. It's fourth quarter. This is your senior season. State championships on the line. What's going on, man? Talk to me.
I mean, it wasn't the first time we were down, but being down in state championships is obviously different. I knew we just needed to make a play, and Riley Russin really came through with that, and he really sparked our comeback.
Nice.
So it's all up to him.
Nice. So you throw 2 touchdowns, right? Mm-hmm. So now you tie it up, and then the winning score, you punched it in, right? Now, a lot of people don't know this. You got hurt in that game, right? Third quarter, maybe?
Yep.
Somewhat. Now, what was the injury?
I tore my ACL.
Yeah, imagine that.
Right.
Yeah,
I know.
Imagine that. At that point, so you get injured, and it's a state game. This is your last game of your high school career. Was it a question?
No, not at all. I wouldn't even let them check me out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take my helmet off. I was making sure I was going back into that game no matter what.
Yes, and obviously it paid off, man, for the man to come back and for that team to 14-0 deficit to win 21-14 in the fashion. And, dude, that was like the first state title since like 97 from the District 2. Yeah, from District 2. So, hats off. I had to touch base with that because there's a lot of local listeners, and they'll appreciate that story. Moving on, though, dude. Listen, we know, all right, you had a tremendous high school season. I'm sure you got scholarship offers, right? You want Penn State on the table. You decide to do a preferred walk-on. A lot of people are going to say, dude, why didn't you take the scholarship? Right? We don't understand. Hey, here's scholarships for you. Tell me about that and why you decided to go your route.
So my first Penn State game was a whiteout, and I was 4 years old. And my mother actually tells the story a lot. I painted myself white for the game at 4 years old, and my mom made sure I was going in there, and I had the opportunity to play there. I couldn't turn it down. Yeah. I mean, I knew I was going to make a name for myself. I just needed my opportunity.
Right.
So.
That's cool, dude.
So through this whole process, and we talked about this the other day, and I don't get to see Dom a lot, but when I do, and thank you for coming to it. That made my day the other day, but we talked a little bit about that because this was it was always on your mind because you were going to Penn State and you were going to play at Penn State. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be on the team. It was always your mentality that you're going to play. Working with you in high school and college when you had come in and you were already there, it was always on your mind that you're consistently going to get better, and there was nothing stopping you through the whole way. And I love that, dude.
Yes.
And I always wanted to get other athletes around me because I'm like, yo, you got to think like this. This is how it's done, and you kind of help develop our culture a little bit. But talk a little bit about your mindset through this whole process because you did have some offers. And I remember I told you that moment that you told me you were going to Penn State, and I was like, it took me 5 seconds to gather myself because I'm like, you sure? But like I said, I love you, dude, and I was going to be supporting you no matter what. But talk to me because you kind of visualize this whole thing. You're going to be out there no matter what. And not a practice player, a player on the team. Talk about that a little bit.
So my dad always installed in me at an early age if I want something, I got to work for it. And I knew going to state wasn't going to be easy, and I knew I was going to have to put the work in and learn. But the way that the culture there and they took me under their wing and showed me the right way to go about it, that helped me a lot. And I mean, sometimes you need that, but I would say I don't even know where I'm going.
It's all
But
good.
all good.
they helped me out a lot. Like they showed me like what I needed to do to become great, and like I'm just happy I was able to follow through with that. Like Jesse Lucetta was one of the top people that like really helped me. He was a senior linebacker at the time. He showed me like what I need to do to be great, and I'm just happy like he took me under his wing.
No, that's
Nice.
awesome. And I know, like, you know, I've had the opportunity to train you and do speed work and stuff like that. And, like, because I got to compliment you because guys like you push guys like me. So, like, you make me want to be better because you're so coachable in that aspect. And this is probably, you know, why you're at where you're at, because you are so coachable. I tell you, this is what I want you to do, this, and this. Then you master that and you're like, now what? And then I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, now what? So, like, I got to get more out of this kid. So you demand more from the people around you, too. And it's not just like, you know, okay, well, now I have this master where it's like, no, like, now what else? What else? What else? Dig in. And it's such a great thing for anybody, you know, to have that sort of, you know, mentality and like that energy. And we always talk about the energy that you bring into the weight room. So I loved getting a bunch of my guys together, my basketball guys. I coach at Dallas, obviously, and getting them together with you. And a pretty cool moment, pretty cool story. Going for the power clean. You probably remember where I'm going with this. Okay, all right. And I'm gonna be honest, the form wasn't that great.
Awful.
And it was a couple attempts, but it was
got
like
it up.
he got it up.
Yep.
And the energy was like just on a different level. I'll never forget that moment. There was probably 9 of the basketball guys in there. I don't know what attempt that you were on to try to get this up. It's 275, right?
Correct.
All right, 275. And you failed so many times, and I'm in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, like he's gonna try it again. The moment that you got it up, the energy was at an all-time high, dude. It was like a moment I'll never. And it was like the form was terrible, but you got it up, and now you've come a long way with that. But I think it's just a cool, like, you know, memory that I have, and just like part of that process with growth, that it was like, yo, like, nah, I'm gonna get this up. Like, it's just not.
But if it wasn't for that, I would never have the relationship I had with Nick and Austin, like all those basketball players. But because they helped me. I mean, I was still recovering from my ACL at the time.
Yeah.
And they were helping me push myself and do the best I could do. And I'm really appreciative of that. And I feel like that's really gone unnoticed. And I don't know if they really know that.
Oh, well,
That's
I'll
dope.
make
Well,
sure that
shout
they
out
tune
to
in.
Nick,
Yeah.
Nacito, and Austin, my man.
That's
shout
right.
out. So listen, man, I'll take you back to the story. I wonder if you remember this. So when we first opened this location, you were in here, and that was a good energy. Like we said, we had you know some ballers in here, and we're going at it. And I don't remember exactly who was in here, but I know you were. And remember, we were doing the skis. Remember the 10 cal skis, right? So then, you know, Dom goes up, steps up, rips a ski, 10 cal, and he did his thing. So now the whole crew's around, and they're like, yo, Dom is nice. He's the fastest. And then, you know, Coach Mason comes up, steps up on the ski, and then rips him, and Dom can't hit it. Now, here's what I loved about it, right? So, all right, I edge him, right? But he is furious in the sense of the competition, which I loved, that he's like, all right, I got to beat him. Like, and he's going at it, and you could not hit it. But I saw that fire in you, and that was when I was like, yo, that dude's different. And I love it and appreciate it, because not everyone's built like that, you know. And I wonder if you could beat me now, but we'll have to test that later.
I know, we have to move the camera.
But yo, dude, talk a little bit about like where that started, where that came from, the mentality of like that drive and that competitiveness and that never giving up, and this is what I'm gonna do and this is what I want. Like, where did that start? How did it start? Who did you learn it from? Talk about that.
So I have an older brother, Dante, and he played the same sports as me growing up, and I would always want to play the same sport as him, and I want to compete with like him and his friends. So I was growing up playing against like kids 3 years older than me, and like I just wanted to do my best and like show them that like, hey, like I can play too.
You can hang.
I want to be on your team. Like pick me. I can play with you guys, and I feel like that just like set me up for the whole life, and like I just couldn't lose that drive. Like I have to compete in everything I have to do. Like it's a curse, but it's also I love it.
Right.
That's Sister Sally. She was a good field hockey player.
Yes, she
right?
was.
Is that right? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. All right.
See that?
That's right. Athletic
Running
family.
deep, man. Running
That's
deep.
right.
I like it. So now you get to Penn State, right? And you're in the walk-on. Now, we just had a little conversation off camera of like that walk-on kind of lifestyle. And you're not always respected. You don't always get the opportunity. Did you ever feel at any point like, man, this was the wrong move? Or was there any doubt in a sense that set in on you? I'm like, I don't know if I could do this.
Yes, for sure. My first semester when they moved me to linebacker, I want to say I got a total of 3 reps that whole spring.
Yeah.
And it was like all in the spring game.
Yep.
And it was like the end of the game. I mean, I doubted myself, but I also knew like, hey, like I know this wasn't going to be easy, so I need to make this work. And that's really when I just put my head down and really just focused on myself and like did me. And like that helped a lot.
Yeah, so I mean, talk to the listeners about that, because like you admit, hey, I doubted myself. Like at some point, it's like, man, this doesn't look favorable. So you can either like go in the dumps and turn away, or you can say, dude, I'm putting my head down and go. Like, so what makes you make that decision? Like, where is that? Is that pride? Is that ego? What is that making you make that decision?
More of pride, because like I mean, I grew up in this small town. Obviously, like I was getting reps playing each sport I play, and like I went as soon as I got there, I was getting 3 reps the whole spring, and that hurt a lot. And I knew I had to make like a change somewhere, but I didn't know where. So like once I talked to the older guys and like they helped me out and like just simplified everything, like playbook, reading schemes, like all that, just like broke down everything for me. It was an eye opener, because like it just made everything so much easier. And it really like excelled for me.
And see, the big thing with that, Matt, is like he asked for help.
He asked for help,
dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's huge. That's a big lesson for people out there.
And I think, and at that point, you were still recovering from the ACL.
Yes, I was.
Right? Yeah, because I mean, ACL, and if you've never been through it, it's a long process. It's grueling. There's ups and downs. It's a roller coaster. I know for you, it was a roller coaster, but you never gave up, and yeah, you did ask for help, and you had perseverance. And it's pretty cool, man. Yeah, right. You overcame a lot, dude. You overcame a lot. And one thing I got to say about Dom, too, is like, and if you didn't get this yet, he's a humble guy, okay? You're a team guy. It's always about the team. At Wyoming area, it was always about the team. You just sat here, you complimented Nick and Austin, how they pushed you, and Mikey coming, all these guys that have pushed you, and still, like Penn State, you're part of the team, man. It's not about Dom Deluca, man. It's never been about Dom Deluca. It's always been about the team, whatever part you were, like if you were a part of fame here, part of, Penn State, it was always about the team. Now, where does that come from? Because I feel like as young kids, it's so easy to be selfish. It's so easy to be like, yo, I want to make this play, and I want to make this highlight reel, and I want to, and it becomes a very selfish thing sometimes in any sport in like high school. It could get there, but I feel like from when I met you to now, it's always been about the team. Where does that come from?
So I actually had a very eye-opening story about same exact thing, because my first semester I was trying to do too much. That was my thing, like my problem. Like I was trying to make that big play and go out of my way and not do my job. And like that's emphasized a lot at school. Like even being defensively, like if not everyone's doing their job, you fall apart.
Right.
So that's how I really like thought of it. And my dad really taught me about that too growing up. He's like, just do what you need to do as long as you're having fun. That's really all that matters. But yeah, and then at school, they talk about that a lot, just like doing your job and make sure like everything else will just fall into place. And I really like that.
And I will say, you just talked about how you were like trying to make big plays and stuff. I'll take you back, and I think I told you this story. I went to see Dom play this year. And he gave me a shirt, a Deluca shirt, so I wear that with a lot of pride. I'm very proud of Dom. So I wear the shirt, and I'm there, and we get there early, so and we're talking to people around us, and the guys behind me is, who's Deluca? Okay. Long story short, we fast forward to the third quarter, beginning of the third quarter. It's the whiteout game. Dom, you blocked a punt.
Yeah. I remember
and I was like, that's him there. That's him right there.
And that's the guy that blocked the punt. That's
so that made it super easy. So it's almost like, when you stop trying to do these things and stop trying to make these big plays, and then you just be part of this team and be part of, like, everyone does their job. That was just your job at the point. And then you made the play happen. And, like, you made a lot of tackles this year. You made, a lot of good things happen,
Absolutely.
But it was just within the flow of the game. It was just within the team. It wasn't, I wasn't trying to go do this and show out or anything like that, right?
Well, at this level, I feel like I just need to know like my role, and like I knew I wasn't gonna be like the starter, like the guy, but I knew like I was gonna get in there, and I just knew I just need to make the most of the opportunity I had and make the most if I could.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. And Dom, I'm not like a Penn State fan, right? But I did wear the blue and white for you. I showed you that, right? So listen, talk to me about. So you've been on successful teams. Give me like a comparison and a contrast on, the Wyoming area state championship team, right? Some of the similarities and characteristics that were built within that culture, and being at the highest level of college football, Rose Bowl, all of that, successful teams with Penn State. Do you see anything that are common denominators of like why teams are successful or whatnot? We preach as a championship culture in here at Fame Strength. So like, I'm sure that exists, but are there things where you're like, man, I see the same things from both sides?
I would give a huge shout out to Scout Team because they really do make us ready, and like they have the worst job possible on the team.
Truth. Shout out Scout.
I feel really bad for them.
Yeah.
Because I went through that same thing my first year, and that was really bad. But getting back to that, I would just say like the culture in the locker room. Like if you have like a family like team in the locker room, like everyone's meshing together, messing around after practice, and just having a good time and like happy to be there.
Yep.
It's different. Like everyone is there for the same reason. Everyone knows what they want, and everyone knows what has to be done. But they also know when to have fun and like when to relax. And I feel like that's really like what you need for a team.
Team chemistry. We hear that all the time.
Oh, chemistry.
Right? Like the successful teams is like the chemistry. It's huge.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And that's like, how do you do that? Because we've talked like to a lot of people, and that's a common theme, right? So we've always said, athletes and you're made in the off season. It's important to put your off season in for individual statistics to get your vertical up, to get your skills better. But then no matter what, because you could take great athletes, put them on the same team, and it's not always going to work out. And it's always about chemistry. It's always about being on the same page. And like, what's something that you can do? Like, how do you build that chemistry?
So winter workouts is a very rough time for Penn State football. That's all I gotta say. But
that's coming up soon.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very close. Very close. But no, like just struggling going through like winter workouts with each other, and like we're giving our blood, sweat, and tears 24/7 for like the man next to me. It just comes naturally. Like it really does. I mean, like I'm gonna work my ass off. Work my butt off.
You could say ass.
That's
okay. You could say ass. Yeah, you're fine, dude.
We're PG-13.
I know. Yeah,
he's 21. Right?
Yeah, you're 21, dude. Yeah.
But just know, like I'm gonna work my butt off for the guy next to me, and like I'm getting the same from him. So that's just really how we built it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like
for a greater purpose.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's good. So listen, man, we want to talk to the youth here, dude. So, you're in a situation where like, odds are against you. You're a walk-on. It's a big-time school, dude. You first of all, congratulations. My man earned a scholarship.
That's right. Did we even touch on that?
We didn't even touch on that. So I'm touching on it right now, dude. Big ups, right? My man got a scholarship. Shout out to Coach Franklin and the squad, all right? Because that was huge. But listen, talk to the youth because, again, the odds were against you, right? You're a walk-on. You're not favorable. What do you say to the kids and the teens? And even better, like if you were able to go back and talk to yourself in high school, like what advice are you giving kids today? Like in the moments of saying like, hey, if you want to be successful or if you want to, go here or do this, like what things are you telling them to do?
I would say I would tell myself to go to the weight room sooner.
Yeah. Wait, repeat that, please.
Yeah, please,
repeat that.
yeah.
Go to the weight room sooner. We try to tell the people,
fame,
man. Fame, strength, man.
maybe,
Like, let's go.
Mm-hmm, for sure. But yeah, that's the first thing. But I would also just like keep your head down. Like just focus on yourself. Like don't worry about the outside. Don't worry about the outside noise. Everyone's gonna have doubt about you. Everyone's gonna have something to say about you. But it doesn't matter unless you prove them wrong, and it doesn't matter unless you put in the work to show them that you're going to do what I say I'm going to do, and I don't care what you say about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really a huge thing for me there.
Yeah. It's huge.
I love that. We talk sometimes. We might have said this on a podcast before, but like your circle, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
like,
surround your people.
we did a podcast about that, in the previous, but your circle gets smaller and who you try to impress, as you get older and you get more focused and stuff. So like, I feel like a lot of times in high school, we're trying to impress somebody, especially when we're really young, like freshmen said, we're really like, we almost need that validity from somebody else and like the social media out there. So we're like, hey, we got to create this highlight and do this and do this. And it's like, I think that's a really important thing to know, is that like, hey, you know, like stay quiet, stay off there, man. And you just keep doing your thing and keep lifting and keep, you know, working on your skills, and like, it's okay. Like no one's going to support you until you actually do it. And it's not, it doesn't matter, because you have a smaller circle at that point anyway, right?
Yep.
It's also social media too, like that. It's awful. Like people are comparing themselves, saying like, "Oh, I see this person. I'm doing the same thing. Why aren't I successful?"
Sure.
But like, you can't take it that way. Comparison is awful.
Yeah.
We say that, and you know, we talk about it. So now you're officially a scholarship player at Penn State. Usually, you say, "I made it," right? Like people are like, "Yo, I'm good, made it, I'm on it." But that's not the case, dude, and you know that. Talk about you got the scholarship, and it's not over, and you know that. It's almost like you have to work even harder, right? So tell me, what is your mentality like, and what is your vision in that plan to understand that, like, yes, hey, I accomplished one of my goals, but I got to go even harder now, because now eyes are on me, right? There's attention. So talk to us about
I always do. It's on to the next goal.
Yeah.
Like that's how it is. Like I'll set my one goal, and as soon as I achieve it, it's on to the next right away. Like don't, like, all right, done, over with. I'm not thinking about it anymore. On to the next. And that's my new thought process. So like right now, like my next is become a starter, become the best linebacker, and then become national championship.
Yes.
So like that's the next goal for me. Yes, NFL. Like I obviously want to go to the NFL, but my goal is at national championship, and I'll bring that to the team.
I like that. I like that. And the thing is you know, you talk to the kids that say when they make it, do you ever find yourself getting comfortable?
I wouldn't say getting comfortable, but I do find myself I don't know.
Comfortable, complacent. Like sometimes, like you're in a good position, and like you're like okay, like so the fire turns down a little bit. And what we're saying is, because you know, listeners out there are people trying to, you know, understand what we're doing and try to motivate. So you say there are times where we get complacent. Like for me, when I feel myself starting to get complacent, where I'm like, yo, dude, I don't feel like I'm moving the needle. Like I get anxious, and I'm like, yo, I got to do something else.
That's not right.
So like with you, do you feel that ever? And is it like, what do you do immediately to say, nah, we got to change that fast?
So I'll just talk to myself in my head. I'll just say, all right, time to lock back in. Let's get back to what we're doing. Go back to the goal. And remember why I'm doing this. And frankly, I emphasize that a lot. What's your reason why you do it?
I love that, dude.
And that's really why you need to think about it. And that's how I went about it when I get complacent.
Yeah, nice.
And one thing about you too that I've noticed over the years, like you will take time to celebrate the small things. You will take time to celebrate those victories, and we talk about how important that is too. But then you're always, like you said, it's like, all right,
on to the next.
Time to dial back in, man. What's next? What's next? And you always talked big. Since I met you, you always talked big, and like you always which I love that, man. There was no ceilings. There was never any ceilings for you. Like, that's incredible. It was never like, because you talked about NFL your senior year of high school. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, slow down a little bit, dude.
That's
but like,
big,
I
though.
love
You
it,
have to
man.
have
But
that,
you
man.
worked like that.
Big thinkers.
You worked like that was a possibility, and then, like, and I hope it is. I really do. Like, I do hope that is. It's awesome, man.
So being around individuals, you know, where you're at Penn State, you know, obviously there's high caliber athletes, man, high caliber coaches, just individuals, period, right? Like that's top notch. Talk about, are there people that motivate you or inspire, or like when you see that you're like, damn, I need that characteristic, or I need that habit, or I need that? Is there anyone or people or groups, things that do that for you?
So Juice Shrugs, he's an offensive lineman. He's a center for us.
Yes.
And he's declaring for the
Shout
draft.
out Juice.
Yes, shout out Juice. Watching that man work and just seeing how he goes about his day-to-day job and like recovery, stretching, like every little thing he does. Like I saw that, I was like, wow, like all right, I see where he's at, and now I see what I need to do. So like, yeah, you can say comparison's a thief of joy, but you can also say like, all right, I see what I need to do to be just like him.
Yes. And we talk about that, like surrounding yourself, you know, with the right people.
Sure.
So you're in a great position, obviously, because you got high-level athletes and people with aspirations and goals where you're at. So it's ideal for you to be like, dude, like, where is that person? There's a lot of them, but there's people that have that extra edge, right? And it's good that you're noticing that and like, hey, that's a habit that I need to pick up, because you can tell – you see the difference, right? Like when that line between like good and greatness, right? Like there's it's the details that make you jump. So it's awesome that you're able to see that.
Attention to detail.
Yeah. Yep.
Attention to detail and good habits, man. So What do you think, man? Should we close this up with a couple?
No, what? No, I got more for this
Oh,
kid. Man.
all right.
We got more for this kid. So now talk about you were a quarterback in high school.
Yes, sir.
And a safety. Did you want to play quarterback?
I mean, I would love the fame of being like a quarterback for like a Penn State, but I kind of like hitting people more.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
So linebacker kind of like ran right through my alley.
But
like,
they recruited you for safety, correct?
Correct.
So like going in at safety, and you talked a little bit about it, but they make the switch to linebacker, and now Penn State's known for linebackers, man. So like making you switch from safety to linebacker, that's a difference. And now there's a lot of clout to that you got to hold up, because if they're like, hey, he's going to linebacker, there's some big dogs in front of you, right? There's some big heads in front of you. And in that moment, you get a slight doubt, like, uh-oh, right? I get this position change. And it's like, you know what, though? Let me tap in. Let me ask these guys, like, how can I learn this faster? How can I learn this better? You ended up becoming the scout team, like MVP or something like that, right? See, like, I don't know, a lot of people know about that. And you hit on it before, like, scout team sucks, dude. Like they take a beating, right? And a lot of times you don't get the recognition either. So they highlight him. He's like the most valuable, scout player. That's huge. So now your name's known there. So it's like, all right, dude, I could do this. Was there a moment within your experience when you were like, I can play with these boys?
So, yeah, I really took that to heart, scout team.
Yep.
I mean, it was my job to make sure the tight ends were ready, and I took that personally. But also the way I was trying to, like, just try new moves, new things, and find things that work, I was like, oh, like, I can actually, like, do something with this. And, like, I found myself, like, making more plays, like, when I'm doing stuff that actually work for myself.
Right.
Not, like, do things too much for me.
Yeah.
So like I was trying new moves, and that was helping me a lot. But also, excuse me, just like having fun, really. Like going out there and having fun helped a lot too.
That's good. That's cool.
Was there ever like an aha moment where there was like, okay, you're working. Your story is a story of perseverance, because you're grinding. You get to the ACL injury, you have 3 reps, and it's just like, it's discouraging. They change positions, and you're doing this. You have to learn a whole new thing. Because like this year, you came out and it was like, Dom's meant to be there, right? So he's making great plays. Was there like one play in particular? Was there like one moment that you like made a tackle and you're like, yo, I'm doing this. Like I'm gonna catch this now. Was there any like moment like that or game that you just?
I would say practice, fall camp this past year. I found myself like picking up things easier than I remember, and just like reading quarterbacks differently now. That helped me a lot. Yeah. Sean been there for 12 years, so like he's a hard person to read.
Sure.
And, just like getting to break him down, like break down his film and break down Drew's film, and just learn from that. I mean, that helped me a lot. I feel like that's like made me feel like I can really do something, and like that's when I really noticed. I'm like, all right, like I know what I need to do, and that's why I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
cool, man.
Yeah. What's the best part for you playing for a team like Penn State?
Just like it's a dream come true just to play for Penn State. It really is. Like I told you before, 4 years old was my first whiteout. Yeah. And like I fell in love since, and I've been in love since. Yeah. And like I truly believe I bleed blue and white. But
all day. I see it, man.
But I'm just happy that I'm able to play for the team.
Yeah.
And it's really an honor.
Grateful, right? Yeah. Like that's a good moment, feeling to have. And listen, like I said, I wasn't a Penn State fan, but like, dude, I've been to Penn State games, and the atmosphere is incredible, top notch, unmatched. So I could imagine you running out and feeding off of that. And I always say when Penn State's at home, especially night game and whiteouts, they could beat anyone. They could beat anyone, right? Because it's just it's crazy, it's incredible. So that's huge, dude, for you. That's and I appreciate that you appreciate that, man.
I always look back to the video of Michigan having to call a timeout, and it happened 2 years in a row, because when they came back the following year after COVID, they had to call a timeout again to open the game. So that's all I got.
It's tough to play there, man.
Well, I was there for the whiteout. How many? Like 108,000 or something like that.
That's what they see, but they usually crack it.
Yeah,
because there's standing room and all of that good stuff.
But that was like That was a blast, man.
Life,
That
yeah.
was cool. And then, you know what was cool was seeing you walk up in that the parade or whatever
Oh,
beforehand.
yeah.
I was screaming for you. You didn't look over. That's
Yeah.
okay. You know, you were busy.
I mean, the
That's all right.
tailgates are amazing.
Yeah, tailgates.
Tailgates
Yes,
are amazing.
Yes, they
I'll
are.
tell you,
God,
right?
like,
Tailgates
that's,
are amazing.
you
That's
crazy.
that. Yeah, it is. It is good stuff. So listen, dude. Any last bits before we start getting into these questions, Dom? Like I said, we're always trying to inspire and motivate people. So our athletes listen to this, and the adults listen to this. What is some advice you give to people if they're struggling, if they're doubting themselves, if they're trying to do better? What are some things that you would advise?
Really just cancel out all noise. Either listen to music or go on a drive. That's really what I would do. But like cancel out all noise. Like focus on yourself. See what you need to do. See what you need to accomplish and where you want to be, and see what you need to do to get there. That's really all it comes down to at the end. Like, what do I want to do, and how bad do I really want it? So that's really what it comes down.
And then take action, right?
Exactly.
I mean, those are great words. Great
That's
words
awesome,
of wisdom
man.
right there. I love it. I love it. You want to kick off with these questions
Yeah,
for
well,
him?
this is why I wanted to end
Yeah.
it 4 minutes ago because
Yeah.
I want my question for you, which we ask everybody, which I'm dying to know. Northeast PA has great pizza.
Okay.
Right, we can. Right,
you know
okay,
where we're
and
going,
especially where we're from, the West Pittston, Exeter area.
Uh-huh.
There's some good place. All right, what's your favorite pizza place?
Ooh,
Yeah.
putting me on the spot.
Yes,
Putting me on the
sir.
This is-
spot.
everyone
Yes,
gets
sir.
uncomfortable when
I
we ask
know.
this question.
You can
dude.
see it. I know.
Because they're all great. They are all great in their own way.
feelings.
All
You're
great.
like, yo, what if I?
I mean, I'm just gonna have to go with the classic Sabatini.
Sabatini,
Sabatini.
That's a
I
classic.
can never go wrong with Sabatini.
That's a classic.
I like it. I like it. Let's talk about if you were to write a book, right? Write a book. What's the title of that book?
Ooh.
Mm.
You stumped me there. That's a good
Right?
one. All right.
It's all right. We got time, man.
Yeah, we got time.
We got time.
We got
brother.
plenty of recording time.
You know? That's it. You got a book,
Wanna
man.
take some
Dom
notes on this?
DeLuca's book.
Yeah.
Like, what would that title be?
Probably the underdog.
I love it. That's where I was at, dude. That's where I was at.
like
but that's a
that.
great The Underdog. I
like that.
I'm gonna buy a copy of that. That's good stuff, dude.
I'll
That's
purchase
good
that.
stuff.
Last question. Okay. Is there any, not a cliche, but is there any like motto that you live by? Is there anything you tell yourself every day? Anything you live by every day where it's just like, this is it. I go with the flow or whatever it is.
So
there
we say like,
anything
get your mind right in here, right? Like that's a motto. Get your mind right. Like, is there anything like that?
It's 2 down, 1 over.
Yeah.
It's boom, boom. It's heart. You know, a 2 down, 1 over. Is there anything like that anything you say like that?
I really always just try to start my day with a positive note, or just try to keep myself know my job.
Yeah.
Like I know what I want to do, and let's go attack the day. Like that's really all I'll say I do.
Yeah.
And I also try small victories. You make your bed when you get up.
Yeah.
You come back to a made bed.
Yeah.
It just makes it so much better.
That's
love
good.
it.
So I mean, to piggyback that, like, so is there a habit that you do always, like no matter what, rain or shine? Is there a habit that you follow in your life?
Make
the
exactly
bed,
make
like,
my bed when I
all-
get up
every day.
Because after a long day,
Yes.
I come home to a made bed
Yeah.
and I'm ready to go.
Never miss.
Never.
That's
Yeah.
dope.
That's
That's
great.
dope. I like that. I like
It took
that.
time though, because my mom
sure.
my mom used to yell at me all the time for it. All
I'm
the time
sure.
for it. It
I'm
took
sure,
time.
dude. That's good stuff. Listen, Dom, man, we appreciate you coming on, man. Had a blast. They're definitely going to gain some nuggets out of here, man. It was an amazing time to have you. Again, congrats, dude, for everything that you have done, and we wish you luck moving on, because I think you have greatness ahead of you. So that's awesome. Please give the people your contacts, Instagram, all that good stuff, where they can reach you, shout out to you, get to the games, all that good stuff.
Instagram DDeluca9, Twitter Dominic-Deluca. No, it's Dominic Deluca 93. That's what it is.
There you go.
It is.
Switch it up.
There you go.
I like
had to
it.
switch it up.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Hey, make sure you guys check out Dom, all right, on his social media stuff. But remember, press that button, man. We need you guys to subscribe. We need 100 subscribers ASAP, and then we're on to the next. But make sure you do that. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. We had a blast.
Oh, I love it.
So until
this is
next
awesome.
time, man. 2 down, 1 over. I'm Josh. This is Matt, and this is the man, Dom DeLuca. We'll see you guys next time.